Okay, hello and welcome back to our channel. Today we are joined by Christine, our lead attorney here at Ferraris Law, and we're discussing an important topic that many homeowners and policyholders face: insurance, property claims, and bad faith conduct by insurance companies. If you've ever had a claim delayed, denied, or underpaid, this is an important conversation to help you understand your rights and what steps you can take next. So let's get into some of the more common questions. What should I do if my insurance company delays my property damage claim?
Thank you, Lizette, and thank you for the question. When insurance companies delay property claims, that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about health insurance claims, though the same things do apply, but ones that we deal with here at our office have to do with property, homeowners, auto, that sort of thing. So they have a responsibility under the policy, which is an agreement and a contract, and then under the law, state and federal law, to handle claims properly. So, which means that they have to do it in a reasonable manner. You know, what's reasonable? If you're waiting like 2 weeks for them to get back to you, that's unreasonable. Especially if you're in a situation where you've had some major damage done, where either, your house, has had a major issue with water, or your car was in an accident. So they need to make sure that they're communicating timely. And then when it comes to actually processing the claim, that they're compensating you fairly, based on the premiums that you've paid and what you understood would be compensated.
Oh, okay. That's understandable. So, the next question I have: can my insurance company deny my claim without proper investigation?
Generally, no, unless like you let your policy, uh, expire, right? Then that's obviously like they're going to deny the claim and say, hey, you don't have a policy, you let it expire. But maybe there was a reason that you let it expire. Maybe the broker or the person that you were communicating with didn't do something that you expected to be done, or the insurance company did it. But generally, they need to provide an explanation that's and an explanation that explains, what decision they've made and why. And when it's just like, a straightforward yes or no, or no, but, and you want them to always explain their answers to you in writing, right? Not just verbally. I've been hearing that consumers are getting text messages from insurance companies, which is, I think, is kind of unless you provided that authority. And if you have, I would suggest that they email you instead. I know it can be convenient sometimes to text message with, but a lot of times communications aren't clear via text message, right? They're usually short, a little bit ambiguous, and they're not. This is a legal issue that you really want to make sure you're clear on, and it's grounded in your policy itself as to what they're doing and why they're doing it.
Yeah, that kind of stood out to me. I never knew. I think it's more uh, as a source of like record keeping. If you have it on email, I think that's much
Yeah.
better than an SMS. So yes, I never
Yes.
knew that could be like a potential better way to communicate with insurance companies or with any legal issue for that
Yes.
matter.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially if folks are reading documents on their phone, which is very difficult.
Yeah.
I can't do it. So I
Mm.
don't know how anybody else really can. I suppose they do. But I advise, like looking at a document on a desktop computer. And
Mm.
if you don't have one, libraries have one, hopefully maybe a family member might have one. But usually there are places that you can go and look or have it printed out. Just say, hey, please print this out and mail it to me because I
Yeah.
need to review it.
Yeah. So what is considered insurance bad faith?
Hmm. Well, as I mentioned before, it's when things are delayed or underpaid or just outright denied. Um, as far as the insurer is acting, if you believe, like you understood you were getting, coverage, or for example, just give a common example is that they want to pay you $10,000 for a car you just purchased that has a value of maybe $18,000, right? And so they're saying, well, this is what the current market value is for that. You can dispute that, and there are appeals process. The insurance company should let you know relative to when they communicate. They should be able to tell you, well, you can appeal this, and sometimes it's worth paying to have another um, consultants. Sometimes they're called independent adjusters, so they act independently of an insurance company, provide an estimate as to what the market value is. So there's usually ways in their own, policies and procedures of how to dispute maybe something how they initially respond. Generally speaking, insurers don't want to pay claims, right? They are a for-profit company, and they are beholden to investors, stockholders, what have you. So, and sometimes there has been cases that where it's disclosed that they have an incentive, like bonus incentive, to not pay out claims or pay them out as low as possible in terms of the amount for the property damage.
Yeah, yeah. So, the other thing is when is the best time, or when should I contact an attorney about property insurance dispute I'm having?
Well, I think it's good if you're not getting anywhere and when you've been going back to the insurer and said, hey, I don't think you're handling this fairly and reasonably, right? And you've tried to work it out. Um, I wouldn't say, spend months doing that, but where, maybe having an initial call with an attorney will help you do your own negotiation. So at least where you stand relative to your rights and so forth, and that might help you um, manage, the communications and the claim on your own by having, just that bit of advice from an attorney. So I guess when you're getting to a point where don't feel like you're getting anywhere and the insurance company isn't responding or has decided definitely they're not, paying you what you think you deserve or entitled to under the policy for your claim. So having that input, and it doesn't mean you have to file a lawsuit. You may just need to have an initial consult with an attorney. So making that investment may save you a lot of money. So just like anything, it's, I always encourage folks to try to resolve a situation to the extent they feel capable. But if they are feeling like they need some outside input, right? Professional outside input, bringing an attorney in, speaking to the broker, about that too, because especially a broker that's been well experienced, they may be able to assist you in speaking with the insurance company. Usually brokers can be helpful in that way.
Yeah, I think it's important what you said, not to let it drag out for too long, but trying your best to get it resolved. If it's not getting resolved and you're not getting an answer, or you just feel like you're being ghosted, as the young people say these days. So
Mhm.
then maybe, contacting an attorney might be a good thing. Having that initial consultation, I know it would give me peace of mind to just have professional advice at that point.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it's true. Yeah,
yeah. So
sometimes that's what we do as attorneys. I sometimes that's all I do is have an initial consult with someone, and that gives them, and they're able to get it resolved. Not always,
yes.
but sometimes. So yeah, I can speak for at least for folks that have had initial consults with me, that they've gotten the reassurance and maybe some idea of how the law can help them, and they can go back and explain that to the insurer. Now, I'm not saying that works all the time, but I'm glad when it does.
Of course. Of course. So, yes, thank you for joining us today, folks. That is a wrap up for us. If you found this information helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more legal insights. And if you're dealing with an insurance dispute or believe your claim is being handled unfairly, you can contact us at Ferraris Law for assistance. We are here to help you understand your rights and guide you through the process. We'll see you in the next video.
Thank you, Lizette.